Hello, and welcome back to another video. Without wasting any time, let's dive into the details. Adolf Hitler, the man whose name became a symbol of terror, war, and destruction. From a failed artist in Vienna to the dictator of Nazi Germany, his rise was as shocking as his fall was inevitable. This is the story of how one man plunged the world into its deadliest war and how it all came crashing down. But to understand Hitler's rise, we must first understand the world he grew up in. Part 1. Early Life and Struggles. Adolf Hitler was born in Austria in 1889. A restless and often difficult child, he dreamed of becoming an artist. But when he was rejected from art school in Vienna, his life spiraled. He drifted through shelters, selling postcards to survive, and grew increasingly bitter. The First World War gave him a sense of purpose. Serving in the German army, Hitler found pride and belonging. But Germany's defeat in 1918 shattered that world. Millions of Germans felt betrayed, and Hitler was one of them. The Treaty of Versailles forced Germany to give up land, pay crushing reparations, and accept blame for the war. This humiliation would fuel Hitler's hatred of foreign powers and his dangerous obsession with revenge. Part 2. Rise of Nazism. Germany in the 1920s was broken. Hyperinflation destroyed the economy. Wheelbarrows of money were needed just to buy bread. Political violence filled the streets. In this chaos, Hitler found his opportunity. He joined the German Workers' Party, transforming it into the Nazi Party. His speeches were fiery, blaming Jews, communists, and foreign powers for Germany's misery, while promising to restore greatness. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power in Munich, the beer hall push. It failed, and he was arrested, but prison only gave him time to write Mein Kampf, a chilling book that revealed his ideology of racism, nationalism, and dictatorship. Though few paid attention at the time, the seeds of destruction were planted. Part 3. Taking Power. By the early 1930s, the Great Depression devastated Germany. Millions lost their jobs and desperation grew. Hitler promised hope, order, and jobs. People listened. In 1933, he was appointed chancellor. Within months, the Reichstag fire and the Enabling Act gave him total control. The Nazis silenced critics, banned rival parties, and built a brutal police state. Through propaganda films, posters, and rallies, Joseph Goebbels created a cult around Hitler. The swastika became the symbol of a new Reich, and Hitler declared it would last 1,000 years. Part 4. The Road to War. Hitler moved quickly to challenge the world. He rebuilt the military in open defiance of the Versailles Treaty. In 1938, German troops marched into Austria, unopposed, the Anschluss. Crowds cheered his arrival. Next came Czechoslovakia. Britain and France, desperate to avoid war, gave in to Hitler's demands in the infamous policy of appeasement. But it was never enough. In September 1939, Hitler invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war. World War II had begun. Part 5. Early Victories. At first, Hitler seemed unstoppable. Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, combined fast-moving tanks, planes, and infantry. Poland fell in weeks. France collapsed in just 6 weeks. By 1940, Nazi Germany controlled most of Europe. Hitler stood at the peak of his power, but across the Channel, Britain stood firm. Winston Churchill's defiance meant Hitler could not conquer Europe so easily. And soon, the United States would also be drawn into the conflict. Part 6. The Turning Points. In 1941, Hitler made his greatest mistake, invading the Soviet Union. At first, German armies advanced deep into Soviet territory, but when winter came, they were unprepared. Soviet resistance was fierce, and the war dragged on. That same year, after Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, the United States joined the war. Hitler now faced enemies far stronger than Germany alone could handle. In Stalingrad, his army was encircled and destroyed. It was a devastating defeat, and the myth of Nazi invincibility was shattered. From then on, Hitler's empire was in retreat. Part 7. The Final Days. By 1944, Allied forces launched D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history, and began liberating Western Europe. In the east, the Soviet Red Army advanced relentlessly towards Berlin. Inside his bunker beneath Berlin, Hitler grew paranoid and unstable. He issued impossible orders, moved imaginary armies on maps, and refused to face reality. On April 30th, 1945, as Soviet forces closed in, Hitler took his own life. A week later, Germany surrendered. The so-called Thousand-Year Reich had lasted only 12. Legacy. The rise and fall of Adolf Hitler is one of the darkest chapters in human history. His vision left over 70 million dead, including 6 million Jews murdered in the Holocaust. His rise teaches us the dangers of economic despair, propaganda, and blind nationalism. His fall proves that even the most terrifying dictators cannot escape justice, nor can they withstand the combined strength of free nations. Conclusion. Today, Hitler's story remains a warning of how one man's hatred can consume the world and why it is vital that such darkness never rise again. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Until next time, stay curious and stay aware of the lessons the past can teach us.